Welcome back, MTG Joe here, and Amonkhet Remastered dropped today. This is a reprint set of most of the cards from an old block of Magic a couple years back. This is Historic Legal. Historic is the extended format on MTG Arena. So we're going to be playing a few decks today. Some of the kind of fan favorites, mix, decks of old that got new tools in it, and see how they go. So the first one up is a Rakdos red-black Pyromancer deck named after Young Pyromancer. So whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, you get a 1/1 elemental. And one of the cards they reprinted is a very powerful Eternal staple, Thoughtseize. This is 1 mana, lose 2 life, take any non-land card from your opponent's hand. So breaks up aggro curves, breaks up mid-range, breaks up combo, breaks up control. It's just a really powerful tool in a strategy that's looking to put pressure on your opponent. So what we're kind of playing around is casting spells and then recasting the spells in our graveyard with Dreadhorde Arcanist. So if you go Thoughtseize on 1, Dreadhorde on 2, when you attack with Dreadhorde, you can cast the Thoughtseize. So there's a number of cards in the deck that we can get back through Dreadhorde Arcanist. The way we can fill our graveyard is by casting the spells or through Stitcher Supplier. When it enters the battlefield or dies, you mill 3. And then you have Kroxa as well, which can be part of the escape package. We're playing a lot of spells, so we might as well get value out of them. So you have your Thoughtseize, Kroxa, main is your discard effects. We have removal in the form of Disfigure, Heartless Act, and Shock. For the most part, you're just casting Disfigure and Shock with Dreadhorde Arcanist, but this is more unconditional removal. For bigger stuff, Village Rites works really nice with the elementals that you create here, or Stitcher Supplier, or even on turn 3, you can cast Kroxa with the trigger on the stack, sack at the Village Rites to draw cards. And then you also have Crash Throughs that draws you cards and can give Kroxa Trample. And then there's another card, it's a split card from the set. So how these work, it's got Aftermath. So the first half of the card, Claim, can be cast from your hand. It's basically Reanimate for creature 2 CMC or less, which can bring back any creature from our graveyard to our battlefield. And then when it's in the graveyard, we can cast the Fame portion. So for 2 mana, target creature gets +2/0 and haste till end of turn. So if you have 6 mana, you can escape Kroxa and cast Fame, and then give it haste that way there as well. It's also something we can cast from the graveyard if we have it milled over with Stitcher Supplier. Mana base is pretty simple. Every land technically comes into play untapped for the most part. And then we have Lurrus as our companion to get back these creatures. The sideboard is still a little up in the air. We don't know what the new meta is going to look like. But we have some Crypts. Works nice with Lurrus because you can recast it. Red Cap Melee versus like Goblins, Mono Red, Glorybringer, stuff like that will be coming in. 2 more discard spells as well as a way to exile graveyards. Key cards in graveyards. Noxious Grasp, red and green, green and white things. Some Abrades. This is another card that was reprinted. 3 damage or can deal with an artifact. Very, very good in the Cat Oven decks. Virulent Plague versus Field. And then 1 Contempt is just a catch-all removal. Also could target Planeswalkers. And then Angrath, the Flame Chain. This is something I'm thinking about bringing in against the control matchups. Just another way to target your opponent. You know what? Let's actually play this as Liliana. Oh, we need 4 mana Liliana. We don't care about discarding, so it's fine that way. The one other card that we could consider for instead of Vraska's Contempt is Spark Harvest. You can cast it for 1 mana and then get it back. So let's actually play that instead of Vraska's Contempt. So either you sack a creature, which works well with Young Pyromancer. We can do something like that. Or there's remove 5, counter, Price of Betrayal. You can also try out Price of Betrayal, works out nice. So there's some options there that we can test out. But let's take it to the ladder. I think I'm in like the 90, oh, I'm in the 1300s. Oh, sorry about that. I was watching Jeff Hoogland's stream and it decided to randomly play. Let's fire this up. There was a bug when it first came up on Historic. All the cards were showing up as illegal. for best of 3. So the upgrade looks to have finished. If you do have any sweet brews for Historic, do drop a link. We'll be playing probably for the next week or so, testing out a bunch of decks. I have 3 for sure queued up today. The other ones, I got like 50 packs and I really didn't hit much in terms of good cards. I got like all the chaff, so I had to craft everything I needed for these. Sounds good. Okay, so I was hoping to get like a Kroxa or something that we could claim back. Okay, they're on some sort of sack deck. Likely they trade, so it's pretty much a free attack. Now we can set up here. So this is an additional cost, so you can sack an elemental, but you need an elemental out. Okay, so they had the removal. So claim already showing its value here. Oh, you know what? I'm an idiot. I should have crashed through. So we're missing an elemental here because I could have crashed through and then killed the... They have the claim. They most likely have a sack effect, so let's just take the draws here. So they do have Priest. Priest is something we're going to want to kill. Probably get another red source here. So I'm going to draw first. Okay, we got another Supplier. Pretty much set up for Kroxa and escape here. We have 2 options of haste. Would have liked to have kept one of these Thoughtseizes. Okay, just bringing Lurrus back. This just gives haste. Attack with both. It's Kroxa here. See what they discard. I actually don't think I mind forcing their entire hand out here. So, like, they can play Lurrus, but that's all they would be able to pretty much do without drawing a land. And if this is another land in hand, then they take 3 more. Okay, so they discard the Lurrus, which is good for us. I'm going to play the land here, just in case if we draw a 6th land, then I can Kroxa and give it haste. So this is going to be able to chump, but it still will deal some damage on the attack. Post board we get Abrade, which is really good in this matchup. These have been very nice so far. Okay, so they have Lurrus. Perfect. So we want to be somewhat selective with what we're exiling here. Because we do get to flash stuff back. So they can sack the cat and then get in a block. Maybe it made sense to attack with one of these, but then they gain 3 life. Okay, it's actually not too bad. They can bring back the cat or they can bring back the priest. So second Thoughtseize, not as good here. Look at their sacking. Just cast Lurrus here. We do want a way to try to kill this Lurrus. We have Disfigure left. Crash Through would give us Trample. We have a bunch of shocks as well, which is nice. Priest is going to do some damage to us, but they do need another creature. Shock's great here. So cast Young Pyromancer. Shock this. We're not at the point for Thoughtseize yet. They want a double block to kill my Lurrus, I'm fine. This gives me more fuel. So this is actually good because if I draw... We haven't hit a Dreadhorde Arcanist yet. So if I draw one of those, I can give it haste the same turn. And it also gets more power, so then I can Heartless Act. Or just shock. Okay, they get a second cat. And they get Kroxa here. Kroxa's pretty solid for them. I don't really care about the Thoughtseize. That was a good hit for them. That's annoying. Let's go to attacks. If I all-out attack, they can bring back the cat. They block and sack. Needed something more than Fabled Passage. Also a very good combination of draws. Yeah, even if I all-out attack, they would have hedged their life total. so we got just more suppliers here. Suppliers for days. Okay, so we got Dreadhorde for next turn. So this turn's just about surviving. We're going to take 3 from the Kroxa. If they decide to attack. And then 2 from the cat. If they sack their Kroxa. So we'll block here. Oh no, they got us. Okay, so they had us. I needed to block with Lurrus there, but blocking with Lurrus means then I don't get back the thing. Oh, they had the priest too. Okay, they had us dead a couple ways. Abrades come in, these come in. I think Thoughtseize, trim a couple, bring in a couple Remorse. I think the Heartless Act is still reasonable. This is a claim deck, so I do want my sack effects. Could probably trim a Kroxa. I think Thoughtseize, we're going to take too much damage. I think I want Heartless Act. I still want this. So we got claim. It's 2 CMC. So I still have good number of creatures. Still want shock. Shock kills it. That. It's probably just a crash through. That one was close. The fact they ripped Village Rites into Supplier into Kroxa Escape was pretty solid for them. Now I have an answer for an oven. I have shock. I have card draw. So I'm going to get this going first. Okay, I have Eliminate. I think we... Okay, so since we drew that, we're going to run it back. If we see a prevalence of Collected Company decks, we may move to Eliminate over Heartless Act. So I want this so I can like crash through or something. That's fine. I still think I want to keep the Abrade. Now let's get rid of this. This might be Village Rites if they're holding on priority. Nice play by the opponent. So we want to be mindful of cards here. So, I actually think we Disfigure here. They're at 4 cards. I'm gonna try to hit a land here. Okay, Shock's nice here. So they can't quite Kroxa yet. Okay, so they have Devil. They have another cat. I'd like to play this out, but this turn's going to be kill this. Shock this. Exile the graveyard. That gets 2 cats and Kroxa out of the way. And then next turn I can play out Pyromancer and then start Crash Through. So when you have the Arcanist, you get a lot of free value with this deck. May have to go Shock. Best to be an untapped red source. Kroxa's not bad. I do want this off the battlefield though. We're doing all this with 2 lions, which is nice. We milled a few. Milled 4 lines. I think we go after their hand here. They're holding on to it, so yeah. When it enters the battlefield, deals 1 damage to target creature and 1 damage to you. To be fair though, they did have pretty decent draw. Like they drew 2 extra cards. They did go cat, cat. Sick. Very nice. Very nice. On the play, I think we run it back. I might want another Abrade. Instead of the Spark Harvest, should be another Abrade. They are bigger, so maybe we want the Red Cat Melees as well. Can see that being reasonable. I like this deck because like everything's so cheap to play. Opponent goes first. We can potentially draw play on 1. We have Pyromancer that goes into nothing. Yeah, I don't think we could keep that hand. This hand's nice. I think it's Kroxa that goes away. Triple Shock's going to be painful against this deck, you're right. So this hand would be better with like a Shock on 1. So I'm setting this up. Perfect. So I can go Dreadhorde on 2. And then play Pyromancer, hold up Village Rites, attack with Dreadhorde, flashback, crash through. Or, you know, of course, they just have Cat Oven. But of course. So we're taking a bit of a chance here. They do have an oven with a full grip. They could have another devil. But I think we need to play to the board. Losing game 1 was tough. Going forward, I could hold up protection, which will be nice. Devil. So I'm not going to block here because they can sack it afterwards. Actually, no, I could have because they would have had to have sacked the devil. So this hand, I need to dig for an answer. They may be hesitant to block here. Yeah. Probably should have gone for that. Okay, we got Heartless Act for next turn. We also have Shock, so we can try to catch the cat out of loop. They have Dreadhorde, and they have Kroxa coming out. Yeah. Probably lost this one. Not having the Remorse there. Maybe we do keep Thoughtseize in this matchup, just because there's a couple key cards that we really need to hit. Yeah, I can't win at this point. They're gonna just escape Kroxa. I don't really have a play. If they missed their land, I could have Remorsed and Heartless Acted this, and then potentially had a shot. I think we want another Abrade in this matchup. We have a bunch of ways to deal with 2, but 3 toughness is something to consider. Alright, let's fire this up again. I imagine that sack matchup's going to be really hard. Just a Mayhem Devil matchup. Because Cat blocks most of our stuff. They gained, like that game 1, they gained a lot of incidental life that just kind of snuck us through. Alright, we're playing against someone who's 79% Mythic. Little awkward. We would have liked a swamp on one. So this will be an interesting take on their end. What they... No! Damn it. I wanted a swamp. Okay, they take the Pyromancer. Go Arcanist this turn, because if they kill this, I can always... Yeah, to be honest, I'm not too sure with this hand. Let's go Supplier here. So we hit our Kroxa, which is nice. Hit our land. I could Kroxa back, but I just want to escape Kroxa ideally. Now I could just disfigure this. It gets another card into the graveyard. There is disfiguring my own Stitcher Supplier, but I can disfigure this, attack, disfigure my own Stitcher Supplier, get enough cards, and then escape Kroxa. What are we waiting on, opponent? Did we time out? Did they time out? So we disfigure here. Also have Village Rites. Nah, I think we get Kroxa going. One, two, three, four, 5. There's some like Golgari mid-range. Okay, so they dumped the Thragtusk. Liliana could kill Dreadhorde Arcanist, which is fine. I just get it back with Claim. Then I can give it haste. This turn's gonna be pretty sick. So I claim Dreadhorde Arcanist. Fame it. Attack Liliana. Attack our opponent. So they discard from Kroxa, and then I get to cast Thoughtseize for free. Don't think you should be discarding Thragtusk. Yeah. Okay, so they're just Golgari, big dumb creatures that gain life. So this matchup, we want Remorse. We probably want our Liliana. They probably have like Scavenging Ooze. So we can upgrade probably the Disfigures to be Abrades. That also hedges the... let's get rid of Liliana, because Liliana I can't play thing. Probably still want the Heartless Act. Thoughtseize is still good. 4 cuts. They probably bring in Sweepers, so maybe we trim along the edges. Trim, trim, trim. Still have enough there. These are all good in the matchup. I think we probably win through Kroxa again. No, thank you. Yes, please. I actually think we... Let's get rid of the passage. Because the way I see this going is we go Thoughtseize on 1. Kroxa on 2. Claim Village Rites Kroxa. So I'm going to get rid of Llanowar Visionary here. That would be their turn 2 play. So now they just get to play out another 1/1. Unfortunately, it looks like they're going to get this Thragtusk out, though. Yeah, I should have taken Thragtusk. Because they play this, and the next turn they play Thrag. Should have played got Thrag. If we were on the play, my line would have worked, but because we're on the draw... Yeah, because I have a land here. Oh, so they over committed. They'll lose the land. So next turn. Actually, that's really good. So I'm gonna Abrade this when they attack. This will put in 3 more cards, so if we draw a land, I can escape Kroxa. What do we get? Thoughtseize, perfect. Sick. Opponent, big Golgari things doesn't really work out. Feel like beating 79% doesn't really bring you up that high. I think overall, like, our approach, I don't even think I want Liliana in the sideboard. I probably just want... What 1 mana? What can we bring in that's... There's like fungal infection. Some like Kaya's ghost form that we can use with our stuff. Maybe we just go another Noxious Grasp, because most of the big stuff's going to be green. Or let's just go Witches. Witch's Vengeance. Play one of these if there's any sort of tribal deck. Because Cry hurts us more. Nah, I think we want more targeted. Oh, what about Carnival Carnage? It's more discard. Or maybe we just want Bedevil. I actually think Bedevil's probably best. Because we're not really going to bedeck here. This is something we could bring in against the field matchups, but at that point we're not really getting to 6 mana that frequently. Let's try Bedevil on the side. I like how the ladder works sometimes. We were in the 1300s, we lost to 99%, we dropped to 98. We win another game and we still to stay at 99. Probably after this we'll play some Godpharaoh's Gift. Playing literal number 1000. On the dot. Lands, lands, lands. Where are you, lands? I think we keep this. I think we put back Claim. No. I think we put back the land. Because we have a redraw. It's going to be Gruul. Okay, they're at a lot of mana, so I'm probably going to Thoughtseize this turn. I think we need to take this turn to Thoughtseize. Whoa, rewarded. Still in a rough spot, for sure. We've just not drawn lands. Cleave me. Play Thoughtseize, they draw exactly Cleave. So obviously Noxious Grasp, Abrades, all removal matchup. So coming out isn't a Thoughtseize matchup. Probably trim a Claim, can probably trim a Kroxa. Actually don't think we want Kroxa in this matchup. Maybe we do want a couple. Trim Village Rites, probably. It's an all Doomblade matchup. Without Kroxa, we have nothing to block Questing Beast. As great as Thoughtseize is, you can't Thoughtseize the top of their deck, so we cleared it. And then they drew exactly what they draw? Spellbreaker into Cleave after you took their last card from hand. So our hand's very good now. I would like something. Okay, they have Robber. Crash Through's great here. Wait, don't go to blocks. Hardcast Bone Crusher. So we are going to take some damage here, but I want to be able to still attack and get that value. Double Noxious Grasp's nice. Taking a bit of damage, but we've spammed the board pretty nicely. do think we want to see if there's a way to put counters on Dreadhorde. So I can take... We take 4, but I think it's reasonable. Just try to close this out. I have the grasp if needed. If I don't, then I'll just Village Rites one of these. So 2, 4 with the flashback. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're 2 short. Give this haste. Sack this, just get to draw 2 cards for free. So Kroxa doesn't quite do it here. Okay, they got Scavenging Ooze. Sick. That game went really well. Probably the same. We have the red caps. Tons of removal. Claim was fine. Let's run it back. And Lurrus is usually just a... It's more for the grindy matchups or when you kind of run out of options. They will get to be on the play, so we won't have the same Arcanist type draws most likely. Best draw would be Supplier on 1. Okay, well we have our Supplier on 1 and we have our Heartless Acts. I think we go like this. An elf draw is a little annoying. Probably gonna have to Heartless on 2. Definitely Heartless. Do we have any creatures? We don't. So we have to kill this now. But we're kind of out of gas now. So this matchup's a little iffy because Heartless Act's decent in some cases, but really bad in others. Okay, so we got the crash through as well. It's fetch mountain here. So I want to do this for next turn. I was hoping to hit a Kroxa. Ramanot, ooh, and Glory Banger. See if they exert here. Ramanot can be sacked to deal 2 damage. Give me a Kroxa. Kroxa. It's actually pretty hilarious. Okay, well, Disfigure is something. This is a thing at a Gruul we need to be mindful. Okay, so we drew the Kroxa. I think here we just get the card out of their hand. If we draw a land, then we can escape our Kroxa back. My guess is this turn they'll Bringer. So let's just get rid of this. Land. Land? Did we... Braid's not bad. What do we got? Haven't hit our things yet. 9 takes me... I'm basically dead to Haster off the top. I can't block Questing Beast anyways. Kroxa gets a card out of their hand. YOLO. Let's try to close this game out. Could be Ember Cleave. Cleave? Cleave. Ah! We're dead anyways. Maybe we want Lava Coils? Could be something to consider. I'm liking the main board. Yeah, I still like the main board. The sideboard. Let's get rid of these red caps and play Lava Coil. If Glory Banger is a thing, Glory Bringer, we need to be conscientious of it. That game was basically... They needed land into cleave. If they didn't draw exactly land cleave, they would have been dead. Slippin' Mickey, thanks for the follow. We'll run one more with this one, and then I'll switch to Dimir Godfarrow's Gift. The fact there, like, we had to Abrade and we had to start putting pressure on them. There is a big noticeable difference with this deck between when you have the Arcanist going and when you don't. I don't think we want Thoughtseize in this matchup. Taking 2 against Gruul seems really bad. Come on, let's find a match. Let's queue up. Ooh, Danny Tila. Another streamer. I feel you're obligated to keep any combination of these two. So they're on sack, most likely, or burn. This background's pretty busy. Most powerful play in Magic. Turn 1 Thoughtseize. They are on burn. So, because this is a wizard, this turns on Wizard's Lightning. I want to protect my Arcanist. Oh, they just drew it naturally. Doing this now. Gonna do this to hold up Village Rites, I think. If they drew another land, I want to be able to protect this. Ramanat's nice because it deals damage to them. Here I think I'm gonna Thoughtseize again. Take their burn spell if they have it. Whoa. So rather they tap out at sorcery speed. Because then I can Village Rites. Okay, they opt to go light up the stage. Let's draw some cards. I think we get another red source here. Sick. Exactly what we wanted to do. So this is a all removal matchup. Pyromancer's probably pretty weak here. Could probably trim a claim. It doesn't play to the board. Thoughtseize was good there, but we generally don't want Thoughtseize in this matchup. Run it like that. Let's try that out. Especially on the draw, we're not going to want Thoughtseize. We'll have an idea if they bring in something like Chain Whirler if they remove Jingantha. So if they have Skull Scar, they might be running Hazoret. Let's keep. Let's run Supplier out. Get to can't remember if Soulscarred Mage has haste. I probably should have shocked them last turn in case they had multiple lightnings. Because now they get to light up the stage and just clear off a glut of lands. That was a mistake on my part. Mana base is a bit awkward here. Because this represents 2 damage. So we got 3 out of their hand. Okay, so they did bring in Chain Whirler. Something to definitely keep in mind if we go to game 3. Because this has prowess, I want to kill this now. And we also have Heartless Act. We're doing alright. If we can dodge some burn off the top. Red Source gets us Kroxa. I think we're just on all removal plan. Tapping out here is a little dangerous. Sick. Nice! Get Kroxa. Alright, sweet. Definitely like this deck. I think there's definitely some area to explore with it. This one's been sweet. So, kind of with this engine. So, we'll switch things up. Let me just restart the client.